Think about all the situations, all the social contexts that you have been, and write down as many as possible. Okay. Have you all finished? Yeah, try. Take your time and write. While you write these down, please note how you're feeling about yourself. What are you thinking? What processes are you going through? How is your body right now? What are you feeling right now? What are your what are your emotions or feelings when you think of your positives and negatives? Then the different situations that you're in, and feel the breathe. Okay, and just be alert about the environment around you. Okay, are you done? Amal, have you finished writing?
What's the question?
Sorry,
What's the question?
did you join late?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, write down your positives and negatives. Take a paper and write down your positives and negatives. For those who joined late, please take a paper and pen and write down your positives and negatives. That is your strengths and weaknesses. While you write, be aware of what all situations or events you are thinking, what all behaviors you are thinking about, what is going through your mind, how is your bodily reactions to it, how are you feeling right now, what reactions are taking place inside your body, how are you feeling, your emotions. Please be more alert and aware about it. Okay, while you write these. And when you're done, please tell me. Ashish, I can't see your face. Yes. Okay. Did you hear the question? Are you writing it? Okay. Done? Everybody? Can you all see the screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Presentation is clear, right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you finished writing, everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, keep that aside. Did you all do the activity that I told to do? I didn't receive all of your assignments, but those who haven't done, please send it before 5 p.m. Okay. Now, today's topic is evolution of psychology. We are going to see how psychology reached the stage as it is now. How was it initially? What concepts did we have initially? How it evolved, how it developed into what it is now. Okay, so evolution of psychology is today's topic. Earlier, what happened is there were many philosophical concepts. Many philosophers, Greek philosophers and all, gave different explanations about psychological phenomenon, mental processes. They tried to explain behaviors based on philosophies. That was the beginning of psychology. And in earlier classes, we learned about the first psychological laboratory established in Germany in a place called Leipzig in 1879 by Wilhelm Wundt. That was the formal beginning of modern psychology. Okay, you have to note this, you have to remember this all through the course. Okay, because this is one of the major milestones in the evolution of psychology. So note this in your lecture notes. And we study
Can't
evolution.
hear you properly.
Sorry,
Voice are breaking.
who is it? Who is speaking? Was it Ashish? I think he has some connectivity issues. I can see him too. Okay. Now we are going to learn evolution of psychology based on the schools of psychology. Note down schools of psychology. SCHOOLS, schools of psychology. Which all concepts that we are going to deal with now are known as or collectively known as schools of psychology. And the first one is structuralism. Okay, you can see the picture of the building blocks in the background. That is the main concept of structuralism. This approach to psychology seeks to understand the structure and operation of consciousness or the human mind. So, in this particular school of psychology, the main concept is the structure or the unit elements that build up the whole structure of the mind or the consciousness. That is of importance to structuralism. As the name suggests, you can connect to it and study. And it is associated with Wilhelm Wundt, who is considered as the father of experimental psychology. Note that too. He is known as the father of experimental psychology. Some of the people call him as the father of psychology, but to be more specific, he is known as the father of experimental psychology. Now, what is experimental psychology? We learned about the scientific methods and researches in psychology, right? That in that, experimental psychology means the psychology that mainly deals with the fact-based scientific research and experimentation of behaviors and the mind. I'll repeat it once more. The fact-based scientific research and experimentation of the fact-based scientific research and experimentation of behavior and the mind. That is what we deal in experimental psychology. We do experiments, we test something in the laboratory, we create artificial situations, maybe we go to the natural settings and conduct experiments there, we study stimulus response relationships, we study how stimulus affect the or cause the response or reactions in individuals. All those are dealt with in experimental psychology. So in order to study experimental psychology, we need a laboratory, and Wilhelm Wundt was the first person to establish that in Germany, in Leipzig. Okay. Now, Wundt was interested in the study of conscious experience and wanted to analyze the building blocks of the mind. So, he wanted to study the conscious experience or the mental processes. And what did he do for that? He wanted to analyze the building blocks of the mind. He was interested to know which all factors together made up the mind, or what was the basic structure of the mind. Okay, just like we play with the building blocks, we take smaller pieces and we put it together, we organize it in some way, we form shapes and we build a building. Similarly, he was interested to know which all factors, which all units or which all elements are together put together in order to form the structure of the mind. That was the focus of structuralism. And structure of mind was analyzed through introspection. Hence, the people who follow this school of psychology is known as structuralists. Okay, so this particular method or the structure of mind was analyzed through a method called introspection, and we see in detail what introspection is. Okay, introspection is the process of looking inward to one's feelings and conscious experiences. Introspection was a procedure in which individuals or subjects in psychological experiments were asked to describe in detail their own mental processes or experiences. Okay, the activity that we did at the beginning of the class was something similar to introspection. Introspection means we look into ourselves. Yes, we try to understand what is happening inside. We try to experience the experience that we are having. We try to analyze it, we try to evaluate it, we try to observe what is happening to ourselves. So that is the definition. Introspection is the process of looking inward to one's feelings and conscious experience. So while you wrote your positives and negatives, you were thinking about yourselves, right? You thought of different situations where you had been good to people. You thought of certain situations where you thought I shouldn't have done that. That was so bad of me, I should not repeat it again. And you might have written those things in your negatives. Is that right? Yes, Meghna?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in such a process, we try to understand and evaluate our own self, try to gain more insight into what we really are, right? That is what we do in introspection. And introspection was the method used by Wilhelm Wundt to study the structure of the mind. And the people who used this method to study the structure of the mind, in order to study the building blocks of the mind, they were known as structuralists. Understood? Clear? Okay. But it was considered less scientific. Which was considered less scientific? The introspective method was considered less scientific. Why? Introspective reports could not be verified by outside observers. So Elvina might be writing about her positives and negatives, but when I observe her, or when her parents observe her, they might not understand that this is a positive or negative, because only she knows what she is going through, right? We discussed in earlier classes that experiences are what in nature? Experiences are subjective in nature. Means it differs from person to person. Yes. Okay. That is why introspective method was not considered as a very scientific one, because it had a lot of subjectivity to it, and people sought to find more objective methods in order to study psychology. Understood? That is all about structuralism. Now, next one is functionalism. So structuralists sought to find the structure of the mind or the basic elements or the basic units of the mind. And now when we come to functionalism, they sought to find the basic functions of the mind or how it works, what it does. How it works and what it does. And it was developed by an American psychologist, William James, who set up a psychological laboratory in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Please note these names because in each school of psychology, we have certain prominent people who have contributed a lot to this field. So in the case of structuralism, mainly it was William Wundt. We'll learn more about it. There are more names, but just as of now, remember William Wundt. In this case, in functionalism, we have William James and the last point, John Dewey. Okay, now it was developed by William James and later it is defined as a school of psychology that emphasizes the utilitarian adaptive functions of the human mind or consciousness. Utilitarian means the uses, the utilities of the mind. Adaptive functions, how people adapt to different situations, how our mental processes are evolved in order to allow us to adapt or cope up with different situations. All those functions were of importance to functionalists. And it studies what the mind does and how behavior functions in making people deal with their environment. Same point as I told before, it studies what the mind does. What the mind does in order to carry on different processes, in order for us to react to our environment, in order for us to respond to different stimuli that comes to us, and how behavior functions in making people deal with the environment. How mental processes, our experiences, our behaviors, all these work together, how they function in order to in order to help us to deal with the environment. And John Dewey argued that human beings seek to function effectively by adapting to their environment. John Dewey was also one of the proponents of functionalism. He argued that human beings seek to function effectively by adapting to their environment. So each day we are adapting to the environment, we are adapting to the changes in our lives in order to cope up with it. We have to move on from one day to the next day. So functionalism seeks to understand how this mind or our consciousness or our awareness functions in order to adapt to their environment. That is all about functionalism. So structuralism was about the basic building blocks or the structure of the mind. Functionalism was about the basic functions. How does it function? What does the mind do? What does our consciousness do in order to help us react or respond to the environment around us? And next one is Gestalt psychology. Note down Gestalt psychology. And the main founders were Max Wertheimer, the second point. Max Wertheimer, Wolfgang Kohler, Kurt Kafka, and Fritz Perls. Note it down. Max Wertheimer, Wolfgang Kohler, Kurt Kafka, and Fritz Perls. Okay. This particular field or the school of psychology, it was developed in the early 20th century as a reaction to structuralism. So Gestalt psychologists, they opposed structuralism. What was structuralism about? Aishwarya, tell me.
It shows how the mind is made up of. What are the components?
What are the components?
Structure
What is
of
the
the
basic
mind.
structure? What are the building blocks? So they sought to find what are the building blocks, and conscious experience was important to them. Okay, the basic elements of the conscious experience was important to them. But in Gestalt psychology, they oppose structuralism. It was developed in the 20th century by all these people, and the main thing that was of importance to this particular school of psychology was the perceptual experiences. What was perception? Perception is the awareness, comprehension, or an understanding of something. We told about the sensation and perception. Like I remember that I told the example of a dog. When we see a dog in front of you, we see, that is a sensation. We get a sensation of vision. We see that there's an object in front of you. It has 4 legs, 2 ears, a tail, its color. We notice all that. That is sensation, and we have to understand that all these things are there, and we have to understand that this is a leg, this is an ear, this is a tail, and we have to understand or perceive that it is a dog. That is how perception takes place. We become aware of what is in front of us, or become aware of what we are hearing, what we are sensing, what we are feeling, and we comprehend it. Comprehend means we try to understand or make it in simpler terms and understand ourselves that this is this, or this is a dog. That is what perception deals with. So, a perceptual experiences are of importance to Gestalt psychology. How our perceptual experiences are organized. Organization of our perceptual experiences are of importance to Gestalt psychology. And Gestalt, the term Gestalt means form or shape. Note that. Means form or shape. Okay. What we experience is more than the inputs we receive from the environment. And whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Note that statement. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. I'll explain it to you. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So our experiences are holistic in nature. It just says that we have to consider everything as a whole, not the unit elements or not the elements that we see. As we told in structuralism, they seek to find out the unit elements or the building blocks. But in Gestalt psychology, what we have to see is the whole of the experience that we have. Now, can you see the picture on the right corner, top right corner?
Yes.
Can you see a structure there? Okay. Who is going to tell? Meghna, tell me, what do you see there?
T.
The alphabet T, right?
Yes.
Yes. But that is a whole structure. What about the units of it? What do you see there? Elvina, tell me.
It is there's
What is
some
the
gap between those
Yes,
small dotted points.
dotted points. Yes, the small dashes make up the whole T, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. So if we were supposed to see this from the viewpoint of a structuralist, we would see the small dashes here. But if we see from the view of a Gestalt psychologist, we see the whole T. Understood? That is the basic difference. That is why it is said whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Okay. And you have so many different pictures of illusions and all in the internet. Go through it. It's very interesting. Okay. Now, another sentence that we have, what we experience is more than the inputs we receive from the environment. Have you seen the negative film of the camera? The negatives, the negative tapes. Have you seen them? Have you seen the pictures or any kind of, no? Okay, let it be. Now, another example. Have you seen the making of animation movies? What these graphic designers and animation artists do is they draw a number of pictures, number of consequent pictures, and they put it into a very fast form. That is how we see the things moving. But what we see is not the singular picture, but we see a complete movie, right? Similarly, when the sun's rays, they come and touch the retina of the eye, and we get a whole vision of the object in front of us, right? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. But we don't take the single rays. We take the whole object in front of us, right? That is what Gestalt psychology says about. It helps us to understand the object or the thing as a whole instead of taking the smaller parts. Understood? Yeah. And we also have other schools of psychology like behaviorism, psychoanalysis, humanistic perspective, cognitive psychology also. Just note them. Behaviorism, psychoanalysis, humanistic perspective, HUMAN, humanistic, ISTIC, humanistic perspective, and cognitive psychology or cognitive perspective. Let it be cognitive perspective. Okay. Do you have the textbook with you now?
Yes, ma'am.
On page number 9, you have a table. And I'm really sorry to say you have to learn that by heart. You have so many milestones given there. You have to read them and you have to learn that by heart. Okay. Yes. If possible, before exams, we can mark the important ones. Just go through them. Okay. All right. So, what all did we learn today? What was the topic, Aishwarya?
Evolution of psychology,
Evolution of psychology. We started with, yeah.
structuralism,
Yes.
functionalism,
And
Gestalt psychology.
Gestalt psychology.
Gestalt.
Yes. What did we learn in structuralism, Meghna?
Uh, we learned about how the mind
Yes.
structure,
Structure of mind,
and those who study this called as structuralist.
structuralist, and
And these were analyzed through introspection.
introspection.
They are called structuralists.
Okay. And
William-
who put forward? Yes. William
William Van
Wundt. Wundt. Okay. What was introspection, Elvina?
By looking the inwards of the feelings of ourselves.
Yes. We understand our consciousness. We become aware of ourselves. Okay. Now, functionalism.
ourselves.
Functionalism mainly deals with the functions of the mind. Yes. And Gestalt psychology, as we told about right now, it is mainly based on the form, the basic form or the shape of the what we see and the perceptual experiences that we have, and the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. When anybody comes and asks you about Gestalt psychology, it is a must that you have to say the sentence: whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Okay. Whoever is going to pursue their career in psychology also, please note, whole is greater than the sum of its parts is a very famous statement, and that is the basic that you have to know about Gestalt psychology. Okay. Have you understood? The
Yes,
evolution is a bit boring topic. Even I don't like. So we'll somehow finish it off. And the next topic we have is development of psychology in India. After that, we move on to branches of psychology, which is more interesting than this. So we have had 3-5 classes. So tell me, how was psychology class? I need a feedback.
It was more interesting
And
it was more interesting.
and everybody tell me, did the other guys leave? Did they lose? I think they lost connection. Okay. Elvina, thank you. Meghna, tell me, how is it till now?
We gain new experiences that
Okay.
we don't know.
Okay. Then?
And interesting than I thought.
Okay. That's all. Aishwarya.
It's going on good, very good actually.
Okay.
And like even my sister is very interested in knowing this.
Oh, what is your sister doing?
She's small, she's studying in 6th.
Oh, fine, fine, fine. Okay. So, is there anything that I have to improve? Like, should I include anything more in the presentations and in the class? Yes? No, this is fine. Okay, so you guys have to read the extra things from the internet and all, because textbook, I know it is a very compressed form. The topics are given in a very compressed form. So it will be good if you can read more on this. Okay, you can see videos in YouTube, and it's very animated videos are very helpful in making you understand these topics. Okay, so then we'll meet in the evening. Okay, did you have your lunch, everybody? Not yet.
No.
Okay, okay, go and have. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.